This week we saw anti-terrorism criminal charges brought against young Muslims who are from Ottawa and have affiliations with the As-Salam Mosque there and Algonquin College. Well, what are those places like? Is there, in fact, Islamic extremism? Are they teaching young people to be radicals, to become violent? Well, let's not guess. Let's go to someone who has actually checked, including in its native Arabic language. Jonathan Levy joins us again. You speak Arabic, you speak Farsi, that's the Persian language. Obviously, you speak English and other languages too. You have gone to the source here. This mosque in Ottawa and Algonquin College, you've brought some evidence today in the form of videos and event posters that suggest extremism and including talking about killing infidels is normal at these places.
I would say that it's important to look into the guest speakers that are being invited to these venues, to the mosque, to the Algonquin College, in order to understand whether the condemnation of terrorism, radicalism is sincere. If we look into these guest speakers, their ideas, their position, they are well known. They should explain why they are invited in the first place.
So the information you're about to show us, you didn't do this in some deep undercover way. You found things that this mosque and this campus Muslim club are publicly showing the world. I mean, it's not like they're even hiding their views. You got these things off the internet, off of YouTube, off their own websites and Facebook pages. Am I right?
Yes.
Well, let's jump right in. Now, I am not as fluent with these facts, so I'm going to rely on you to take me through the evidence. You have 3 or 4 video clips and some other posters or websites. Let's get started. What's the first piece of evidence you'd like to show us today?
This is a speech made by Sheikh, the Imam Said Rage. He's a Toronto Imam, and he was invited to speak in front of the congregation of As-Salam Mosque in Ottawa. And he referred to Prime Minister Harper.
Let's take a look.
If one of us was invited by the Prime Minister of this country and he says, you know, I'm giving you a special invitation, exclusive invitation, come to my house, have dinner with me, chat with me, sit with me, talk to me, I'll talk to you. I guarantee you every one of you will come out of that meeting raising his head with pride. So proud of himself, so pleased, you know, tweeting every second, oh, I'm sitting with the Prime Minister. Your life will be nothing but him, and he's the enemy of Islam. He's an enemy of Islam. I guarantee you if we go to him right now, and he's the man who said, you know, the threat of this country is Islamism.
Now, that's a Toronto imam. We've showed him before talking about killing apostates. He was speaking there at the As-Salam Mosque in Ottawa. Mm-hmm. What does it mean when a Muslim imam declares someone to be an enemy of Islam? Does that have a meaning that is deeper or different than the plain English words of that all?
First of all, he must explain himself. But if you look into the terminology in the Middle East, when somebody, Hamas is saying this is enemy of Islam, Iran defines somebody enemy of Islam, or ISIS or Al-Qaeda, which means that he is one that against him we should launch the jihad, which is he is a legitimate target. And even if he didn't mean the same, this specific interpretation, those who are in the congregation, those who are radicals, those who are mentally ill, as they're being called, may understand it in a different way, in an extreme way. So I think it's very important, you know, for this terminology to be used in the mosques. That could be consequences.
Right. So even if this imam himself didn't mean, so let's kill the Prime Minister, the kind of people who were charged with anti-terrorism, with terrorism crimes, the kind of people who've gone overseas to kill, like John Maguire, an enemy of Islam, that's who he kills. Now, we got to speed up a little bit because we got to get through a lot more evidence in the segment, in the time we have for this segment. So why don't you introduce the next piece of evidence on the radicalism at the As-Salam Mosque and Algonquin College?
As-Salam Mosque invites from time to time radical imams to speak in front of the congregation, and one of them is in Edmonton Imam. who was invited, and I found a speech of his, a supplication, basically, that was said in Edmonton, I think in Edmonton, and he talks about the Mujahideen. He calls Allah.
Mujahideen is a holy warrior, or as we might call them, a terrorist.
Jihad fighters.
Yeah.
And he asked Allah to support the Mujahideen, give them victory. To all Mujahideen around the globe, and he also mentioned countries like Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan.
So an Edmonton imam at the Ottawa Mosque was saying we have to support the jihadis, including in Afghanistan, where Canadians were fighting.
He didn't say that in a Salam mosque. He said it in other place, but that shows you his mindset.
Let's show the video right now.
اللهم احفظ المجاهدين في كل مكان الذين يجاهدون في سبيلك ويريدون أن يجعلوا كلمتك هي العليا.
So an Edmonton imam, I mean, it's bad enough that he's going to Ottawa. This guy is preaching in Edmonton. Give us your next piece of evidence.
And at the end of that video clip, there is a message from Anwar al-Awlaki.
That's a terrorist
Yes.
who was with Al-Qaeda.
Al-Qaeda in Yemen. He was he was the inspiration behind the attack.
Yeah, he's a
Charlie
famous
Hebdo.
Al-Qaeda terrorist.
Charlie Hebdo.
Wow, to actually give him a
Yes.
shout out is quite something. Let's take a look at that right now.
My advice to you is this. You have two choices. Either hijrah or jihad. You either leave or you fight.
So that was Anwar al-Awlaki that was being praised by this Edmonton imam?
He was not praised by him, but it was at the end of his supplication. What is interesting about that?
So at the end of the prayer, they
Yes.
had that video?
Yes, that was inserted to the video.
And that was an Islamic State terrorist flag, I saw that.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it's Al-Qaeda and Al-Qaeda in Yemen. But what is interesting about that, the imam, this Edmonton imam, called his followers and friends on Facebook to subscribe to the same YouTube channel which has this video.
Jeez. Now, do we have any more video, or now we've got some ads on Facebook and things like that?
There was one short video from another imam from Britain, also a radical imam, who calls to who support killing all apostates, and he was also invited to speak in front of the congregation.
The same As-Salam Mosque.
Same As-Salam
So this
Mosque.
As-Salam Mosque was bringing in all these radicals from around Canada, also invited this radical from the UK. Let's take a look at what he has to say.
The Muslim man or woman who changes their religion from Al-Islam to anything else, kill him in the Islamic State.
Kill him.
It's like ISIS, like ideology. He also calls for the killing of, executing of
So
gays.
he was invited to speak at that As-Salam Mosque in
and
Ottawa.
also at Algonquin College.
That guy was invited to Algonquin College.
Yes.
Now let's show some of these Facebook ads and things like that. Let's show the first one, a Facebook ad saying, hey, come on down to Algonquin College. This is where that Muslim Students Association, some of these accused terrorists. So what does this say here? Come down to Algonquin College, room C144. Come visit your friends and family and watch it. So they were having some online multimedia Islamic experience.
Yes.
And nullifiers of Islam, that's written like a horror movie. A nullifier of Islam is someone who would criticize Islam, speak out against Islam. This is being hosted at the As-Salam Mosque also. That looks terrifying. What would that be about?
Now, what is
That was that British American guy.
Yes, he was born in New Jersey, and now he's based in London. But it's very important to see to examine the condemnation that were published by this organization like As-Salam Mosque, or today by Algonquin College, the Muslim Students Association. Not to be, to look into it in a different way and to check it and to, to see if the condemnation is really sincere.
So what you're saying is the 4 video clips and the Facebook page and the ads, that is the substance, that is the truth of what they do, who they invite, how they talk at the As-Salam Mosque and Algonquin College. And whatever they're saying now about, oh, we're against radicalization, we're against extremism, what you're saying is check their words in English in public to what they say in Arabic in the closed doors of the mosque that you managed to find on YouTube. That's good advice, and I hope that Canada's CSIS and RCMP watch this show. They need to know the facts. Jonathan Levy, you are the only person in Canada doing this research. More